mic's working. Hey, it's 2737! Every Infinity Stone ranked is my opinion. I'm going to rank them right now. Anyway, okay. Let's go. So, the first one would be Space Stone. Okay. I'll do worst to best. Space Stone. Space Stone. Mind Stone. Soul Stone. Power Stone. Reality, and then time. I think time's the best. Time, you can't beat time. Like, bro, someone can just freeze you in time, and you're there forever. No one can stop you. Unless you're, like, in the TVA or something. But no! Why don't they just use, the time stone to stop the TVA? Huh? If I was Loki, and how he saw all the Infinity Stones on the desks, I'll just put him in my pocket anyway. He'd probably die if he goes back to, like, normal time because how powerful they are. Because he probably can't hold them all. He probably can't even hold the Power Stone. He held the Mind Stone. Anyone can hold the Mind Stone. Anyone can hold any stone except the Power Stone because that's the one where you need strength. Okay, I think I've gone. We should watch the video.
The Infinity Stones have played a key role in the Marvel Cinematic Universe since the Tesseract was first introduced during the end credits of Thor. They've gone by many names since then, but they are all part of this collection of cosmic gems. The stone's powers supposedly vary depending upon the strength and the skill of the user. On top of that, they're said to have a certain level
in Infinity War, not gonna lie, I thought it was just gonna be, like, there was gonna be the whole fight scene of, like, all the characters versus Thanos, and then at the end, it'll be him versus Vision. I thought Vision was, like, stronger than Thanos. But he did shit. He did nothing. He got stabbed, like, 3 times. That's all he did. What a waste. Vision, you're a waste.
They can even reject certain users by refusing to do their bidding. Or just destroying them entirely. And when they're brought together, look out. The Infinity Stone's power as a unit is virtually, well...
That'd be weird. Oh my god. You know how badly every time I watch a Marvel movie, I wish that was in real life. I could collect all the Infinity Stones. I could just go to space. I could do whatever I want. I don't have to pay no bills. I probably do. But that'd be sick. I just go on a mission and find the Infinity Stones. I want to find an Infinity Stone right now. I want to do
Infinite. We saw just how powerful they could be in Avengers 3 when Thanos used them to eliminate half of all life in the universe. Yet, throughout the MCU, we've often encountered 1 or 2 Infinity Stones at a time. That's allowed us to see what each stone can do on its own. While, in theory, no stone is meant to be more powerful than the others, the clues in the movies suggest that that may not be entirely true in the MCU.
Actually, Space Stone is really good. You could just make black holes everywhere. You can't beat a black hole.
In this video, we're going to go over the powers of each stone and rank them according to what we know about them from the movies. Of course, that means there are spoilers for any of the MCU movies
oh
no! Let's go. Number 6. The Power Stone.
Wait, so Power Stone's the worst? No fucking way. What? How?
Last in our ranking is the Power Stone. Right about now, you're probably wondering how a stone that has power in its name could actually be the least powerful of the 6 stones. Well, we're not saying it's not powerful, but based on what we've seen from it in the MCU, it hasn't always seemed as powerful as the others. Let's look at the evidence. The Purple Power Stone was introduced in Guardians of the Galaxy, where it spent most of its time in an orb. Both Ronan the Accuser and the Ravagers were after it. However, it was Peter Quill, Star-Lord, who found the orb on Morag and took off with it. At the time, he had no idea what he had. He and the Guardians attempted to sell it to the Collector, but when his servant attempted to use it to gain her freedom, it destroyed her. Ronan got the stone and put it in his Warhammer with the intent of destroying the planet Xandar. The thing is, that didn't really work out. Ronan managed to take out some of the Nova Corps fleet that resided on Xandar, but his plan to destroy the planet was a big failure. Instead, he was distracted by a dancing Star-Lord and relieved of the stone. Star-Lord even managed to hold the stone by joining hands with the other
'Cause
Guardians
he's a
to
god.
distribute the power. Yay, teamwork. So in the MCU, the Power Stone's main power seems to lie in destroying things, and it doesn't seem to do that especially well. While it could destroy an entire planet, not just anyone who wields it will be able to accomplish that feat. In addition to its destructive powers, the Power Stone is also supposed to be capable of increasing the power of the other 5 stones. Based on its MCU track record, that may be its most useful power. Number 5.
Wow.
Reality Stone.
Reality Stone?
Next
Really?
up
What can the Soul Stone do? Can the Soul Stone just kill someone? Like, take their soul? Sell their
is the
soul?
Reality Stone. The plot of the second Thor movie, The Dark World, hinges on this stone. At the time, though, it was referred to as the Aether, and looked nothing like a stone. Instead, it was a parasitic red sludge that infected the body of Jane Foster, Thor's girlfriend, when she accidentally found it. Jane had no idea what the Aether was, so instead of being able to use its power, it simply made her sick. Still, she attracted the attention of the Dark Elves, who wanted to use the stone to plunge the 9 realms into darkness. Because why not? The leader of the Dark Elves, Malekith, had more success than Jane wielding the power of the Aether. Still, he was quickly defeated by Thor, Jane, and their wacky band of science nerds. No big Avengers team-up required. The next time we see the Reality Stone is in Avengers 3. Thanos has found it. He has a lot more success using it than Malekith. He alters reality to make him more believe she successfully ended his life. He also uses it to reduce Drax and Mantis to pieces and to turn bullets into bullets.
That'd be a sick... Oh my god, you don't even have to fight anyone.
How
You
this
just
stone
turn
works,
him into
though.
something.
Drax and Mantis are whole again once Thanos takes off with the stone, but some of the other parts of reality seem to be shifted permanently. So
Hey, why didn't he just turn them into stone permanently? Permanently. Why didn't he just do that? Does it work like that? I mean, the living things get changed?
Thanos claims that he can make reality anything he wants with the Reality Stone. Based on what we've seen in the MCU, though, it seems like the original reality still exists underneath, or something. Number 4. The Space Stone. At number 4 is the Space Stone. The Space Stone has made several appearances in the MCU, but many fans will be more familiar with it as the
Ice Cube. That looks sick. I wanted a Tesseract desk light on my desk once. I found one.
As the Tesseract. This was
I wanted to collect every MCU thing. I was like a nerd. I probably will when I get rich.
First Infinity Stone to be introduced in the MCU. In the end credit sequence of Thor, Loki watches as Nick Fury shows the Tesseract to Dr. Selvig. Shortly after that, we learn in Captain America the First Avenger that Hydra used the Tesseract to make weapons during World War II.
Hey,
the
they
Tesseract
did.
also played a key role in the 1990s set Captain
Hey,
Marvel.
there's so many
In
Tesseracts.
that film, it's revealed that Marvel, a Kree masquerading as a human scientist, Wendy Lawson, was using it to build a better spaceship. Eventually, Carol Danvers recovers the cube, which Goose, the alien cat, swallows for safekeeping. Yum. Tasty.
Oh, yeah.
After that, the Tesseract ended up with S.H.I.E.L.D. until Loki steals it. He uses it to bring the invading aliens, the Chitauri, to Earth during the events of 2012's The
Couldn't the
Avengers.
Chitauri just fly to Earth without having to... guess I probably don't know where it is.
Can also open up. The Space Stone, as its name suggests, gives its user power over space. That means they can transport themselves wherever they want at the drop of a hat. They can also open up portals for others.
What does that
In
do?
Endgame, a mistake during the Avengers time-traveling mission sees Loki gain possession of the Tesseract again. He uses it to free himself from custody and escapes, which means we could see a version of the Space Stone again. Throughout the MCU, the Space Stone has mostly been used to travel between places. It's definitely a useful skill, but something Doctor Strange has shown that he's capable of achieving in other ways. Of the things the stone has been shown to do, the most intriguing is its ability to create super weapons and engines to power spaceships. We never really see how the Space Stone's power is harnessed to accomplish those things, though. Another interesting thing about the Space Stone is that it seems to have its own opinions about things. In the Avengers, Dr. Selvig appears to commune with the stone and refers to it as a she. Also, in the first Avenger, the stone decided that it didn't want Red Skull using it and instead sent him to Vormir.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that'd be weird having the Space Stone. Oh, the stones have their own mind. That's even harder for a weapon. If that's your only weapon, like Thanos, that's his only weapon. Oh, I guess he's strong, but Damn.
to guard the Soul Stone. So
The Soul Stone will be easy. All you have to do is... Actually, no, never mind. You have to kill
to
someone.
be a bit more going on with this stone than simply traveling through
But
space
it's with
in the
you
blink of an
forever.
eye. Still, how those other powers work isn't completely clear. Number 3. The Time Stone.
Seriously?
Our third place
The
pick
Time
is the
Stone's the
Time
best
Stone.
stone.
This stone is housed in the Eye of Agamotto, which Doctor Strange
It's
wears around his
time.
neck once he becomes
Everything
the Sorcerer
runs
Supreme.
on
The
time.
Eye has always been the possession of the Sorcerer Supreme, though. Strange first encounters it in his self-titled movie when he starts training in the mystic arts at Kamar Taj. In the case of many of the other stones, we're told about their powers, but we don't see much of them for ourselves. In contrast, Doctor Strange does a good job vividly demonstrating the powers of the Time Stone. In fact, the stone becomes the key to the movie's plot. The evil sorcerer Caecilius summoned Dormammu, the ruler of the Dark Dimension, to Earth. Dormammu could have destroyed the planet,
But
so
he
Doctor
was
Strange
loose.
used the power of the Time Stone to defeat him. Strange trapped Dormammu in a time loop until he basically just got frustrated and agreed to go away and never return. Doctor Strange also uses the stone in Avengers 3 to look into the future to see the outcome of the Avengers fight against Thanos. Early in the film, he tells Tony Stark that he'll prioritize the stone over his and everyone else's lives.
But he didn't.
Once Strange realizes they only have one shot at defeating
You
Thanos,
could have
though,
had
he
more.
willingly gives the
You
stone.
could have had a portal. You could when he was asleep, you could have did the circle sparkly thing. Boom, cut him in half. Not that hard. Or you could have just cut his arm off with the sparkly thing.
To the Mad Titan.
That's like
Having
the
power
most
to
powerful
move
weapon.
time forward and backwards and see the future make this stone extremely powerful. However, there are still 2 stones left that may be even stronger. Number 2. the
Reality? Wait, what's the Mind Stone? The Mind Stone's shit. The Vision was shit with it. That's what I mean.
The second most powerful stone in our ranking is the Soul Stone. Of all the stones in the MCU, this is the one we see the least of. That doesn't mean we don't have some idea of what it can do and how powerful it might be. Out of all of the stones, the Soul Stone is the only one that requires a sacrifice just to retrieve it. In Avengers 3, we learned about this requirement when Thanos and Gamora went to Vormir. Vormir is the desolate planet where the Soul Stone is
R.I.P.
kept.
Gamora.
In fact, the planet's only purpose seems to be to house the Soul Stone. In exchange for the stone, the person seeking it must end the life of someone they love. It's an even exchange, a soul for a soul. It's also a bargain most people would never take. Yet in Avengers 3 and 4, 2 characters met their end because of this requirement. First, Thanos tossed Gamora, the only being in the world he loved, off a cliff. Thanos was one of the few beings in the universe who would prioritize power in pursuit of his goals over the life of the one he loved. In Endgame, Natasha Romanoff gave her life under similar circumstances. She and Clint Barton travel back in time to Vormir to get the stone before Thanos. This time, though, neither friend wants to give up on the other. They have a knockdown, drag-out fight to determine who will sacrifice themselves for the stone. It ends with Natasha at the bottom of the cliff. While Clint didn't purposefully exchange Natasha's life for the stone, apparently her demise was enough. While the stone demands a high price, we see very little of it working on its own. But those instances indicate the stone's incredible power. At the end of Avengers 3, after...
Wait. How would they give the Soul Stone back? Because you can't just put it back. Because the Red Skull's gone. Because someone already sacrificed their life. What are you gonna do? I need to watch that next.
Thanos has snapped away half of the universe. He uses the stone to visit a young Gamora. So we know the Soul Stone can be used to conjure those who are no longer with us. Joe Russo, one of the movie's co-directors, also sheds some light on the stone's other powers. He explains that the Soul Stone can manipulate people's souls. He used an example from the movie in which Doctor Strange uses magic to become multiple versions of himself.
Oh, yeah.
Thanos uses the stone to get rid of the fake versions of Doctor Strange and even shoves Strange's soul out of his body. In other words, the Soul Stone has power over the very essence of who a person is. Plus, it can resurrect and conjure the dead. Those are god-level powers. So even though we haven't seen them all in action, the Soul Stone seems like it
They need to
contains
do a movie on the Soul Stone.
powers.
It would just be called the Soul Stone.
Number 1, the Mind Stone.
Ow.
And number 1 in our ranking is the Mind Stone. From its first appearance, the Mind Stone seemed to be the stone that has the most importance to the MCU. Let's count the many ways the Mind Stone has played a key role in the events across the Marvel Universe. We were first introduced to the Mind Stone in the Avengers. The stone was housed in the scepter, and it quickly became clear that it could be used to control people's minds. In the movie, Loki hypnotized Clint Barton, aka Hawkeye, and Dr. Selvig with it to get them to help him carry out his evil plan. Yet the stone's power doesn't stop there. Hydra acquired Loki's scepter and used it to experiment on the Maximoff twins. This gave Pietro Maximoff super speed and Wanda Maximoff mystical powers. The powers granted to Wanda were particularly impressive. Not only could she control physical matter, she was also shown manipulating people's minds. In Avengers Age of Ultron, she makes all of the Avengers hallucinate different scenarios. After the Avengers acquired the stone, Stark uses it to create Ultron. Ultron was meant to protect the planet and keep the peace. It quickly decided that humans were the real problem, though, and turned on the Avengers. Later,
best villain in the
stone is
MCU.
used to create Vision, who does ally with the team. In fact, Vision wears the stone on his forehead, and it grants him incredible powers. Interestingly, one of those powers isn't mind control. Instead, he can shoot energy blasts, phase through solid objects, and fly. In Avengers 3,
he
to
could
prevent
mind
the stone from falling into the hands of Thanos, Wanda must use her powers to destroy it. It seems she's the only one who's strong enough to do so, which is another indication of just how much power she got from the stone. Of course, by then, Thanos had the Time Stone, so he just did a quick rewind to restore the Mind Stone and take it for him.
If you had the Time Stone, you could do the pause challenge every day. Oh, I want the Time Stone.
Nonetheless, the stone's versatile powers throughout the MCU are undeniable. And there's one more curious thing about this stone that puts it at number 1 on our list.
What?
Marvel's official character page for Loki confirms what many fans suspected. The Mind Stone controlled Loki and his actions in the Avengers. The Mind Stone made him more evil than he would have been on his own. In other words, the Mind Stone was using Loki to carry out its own agenda.
The Mind Stone's evil? There's something fucking wrong with you, Mind Stone.
Opens up the possibility that the stone was even responsible for Thanos' plans to decimate the universe in the first place. After all,
was it? No, it wasn't.
Thanos was the Mind Stone's original owner. It's quite possible he fell under its influence as well. So, at least as far as the last 11 years of the MCU go, the Mind Stone has proven to be the most important and most powerful of the Infinity Stones.
But I wouldn't want to wield it.
No,
the Mind Stone's just too confusing. Like it wants to kill me. It doesn't want to kill me. Just make up your mind, Mind Stone. I don't want you. I want the Time Stone.